Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what day trading opportunities there are. You'll see my technical analysis and my strategy, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Okay, let's start here in the daily as usual. Top screen is EU, bottom screen is DXY. So what do we have? We have yesterday closed out as a bullish candle, right? Previous day to that was also very bullish. And the same with DXY, of course, we've had two bearish candles and this one closed out as a bit of a doji. We have our previous daily high, previous daily low, same on DXY. Both are still intact for this current day. You can see we've barely wicked up over this previous weekly high, but we'll see that more clearly on the lower time frame. We are nowhere near our previous weekly low on the DXY, so there's some divergence there clearly. Other than that, there's not loads to talk about. You can see DXY hasn't been moving fantastically ever since we got down to this order block area. So that's why price hasn't really been moving very well, which again we'll see on the lower time frame. So as mentioned in my previous videos here on the 4 hour, this is the leg that I would say we're still stuck within. We're within this bullish leg ever since pulling down now. We've kind of created a range. Obviously we've come back to the top of this internal range again, and like I said, price isn't moving fantastically. We've not established any continuation of a trend or a reversal. We're kind of just going from each end, sweeping some internal liquidity, going back to the other end and taking more internal liquidity. DXY, you can also see a similar picture, right? Within this range here, we haven't been closing above on the 4 hours any higher highs or closing below with any lower lows. Of course, I've still got this message here about more downside available, which is true. Price hasn't, of course, indicated where it's going, but there is more downside available. It did look like initially we was going to continue with our bullish trend on DXY because we was creating these high lows, high highs, high lows and high highs. Since then, of course, we still have this high low, so that may still continue and looks like it may dominate, right, because we've held this area. However, obviously EU, there's been divergence and EU has been attempting to make higher highs also. We have our SMC divergence, which I'll go into on the 1 hour because it's a bit more clearer, which has given us, you know, the indication of a weak EU to go along with that. We have our 4 hour fair value gap here, which I haven't drawn out because we have a 1 hour fair value gap in a similar position, but we are in the premium again. So I do expect price now, after taking buy side liquidity, to seek out some sell side liquidity within a discount. So I hope that's clear and it's not too confusing. I've left these old SMC signs on. Hopefully it's not confusing you, but they're just to show, you know, where price was giving us divergence and reversing, right? It's keeping us within this current range or consolidation on the higher time frame. Right, so on the 1 hour, on DXY, we can see that this 1 hour order block has held so far. Price failed to make a lower low while EU completed a higher high. So that would indicate, obviously, we've got this SMC divergence, which literally goes from actually this area to here, but it's more obvious if I point this out. So we've got SMC divergence, which would indicate that EU has grabbed buy side liquidity in order to continue lower because DXY failed to make a lower low, so it's showing strength. So this would be a liquidity grab according to that rule. We have our 1 hour PMI here, which could be a draw on price because it's a imbalance, and also there's an order block here in the discount. Same with DXY, of course, our order block and imbalance POI just above price now. So yes, a bit of a confusing picture in terms of, you know, higher highs and higher lows, but the SMC divergence would indicate that we should have strength on DXY, at least up until this area, and we can see what happens there, right? We have our higher high closes on the 1 hours, which we don't have obviously on the 4 hour, and we had that indication from EU with lower lows, but obviously now it's made that higher high. But we'll see that as, of course, the buy side liquidity grab until further notice, until we're in the discount. There is major news announcement today, right? There is the CPI that's coming in the New York session. PMI that's coming in the New York session at 10 a.m. NY time. We have to look out for that. Price may not move well in London at all. It may just wait. It could just create liquidity and wait for that news announcement, which is very, very common. So we have to be patient today, not assume anything, and jump into those low quality trades, because they could come back to bite you on days like this with CPI, which usually aren't great for trading all the time. If we can't get anything in London, then it's usually best to just wait. So now let's go down to the M15 and we'll look to see if there are any immediate opportunities for trading today. So as I mentioned, obviously patience is a virtue for today with CPI on the horizon. However, now on the 15-minute, let's look at what we can see. Of course, yesterday the order flow continued bullish. We went and swept the previous weekly high. That has given us some bearish order flow, though we're still holding this internal 15-minute leg here, right? We haven't swept it. We haven't taken much meaningful sell side liquidity. We've swept the Asia lows, which had a small bullish pump, but now price has come back down. We may sweep that Frankfurt again. I believe that was Frankfurt. So I personally wouldn't want to long here, but if I wanted to look for longs, then I would at least want this previous day low sell side liquidity, right? Because if price were to come down to this area, sweep that liquidity, it's created maybe a structure. Let's say it sweeps it again and breaks higher, we could get our corrective bearish pullback to go higher. Of course, we'd be in a premium, right? We'd be in a premium for sure. Whatever structure price creates while coming down, we may just see the bottom sweep, break of that structure, right? And then a pullback, a little corrective pullback or something like that. We don't have to, of course, go there. It could look like this, right? Price could just be something like that. Take the low, break whatever structure we had created before that, pull back correctively down to our POI, and then break higher. However, as saying, this is in a premium area, so it's not the best conditions for buys. However, of course, bearing that opportunity in mind, if we look here, the previous daily high and this 1 hour order block is just here on DXY. It's very possible that if we take our previous daily low here, we'll also step into this previous POI on the high time frame, which may push price down on DXY, which may then push price up on EU, of course. So it's not a bad idea. Of course, we have our better POIs down here in the discount, and of course we'd want price to come down here and create a structure again, sweep some liquidity, break higher, and pull back to go. In terms of sell opportunities, there's no clear POI, but we are in the premium. We'd want to sell if possible from up here, right? So in order for price to go up here, DXY needs to go down first. We'd need DXY to take the previous daily low and maybe that previous low where the SMC currently exists, and then it could head higher. In that way, we would have had our bullish run to the top here on EU. I hope this is clear. Let me know if not in the comments. And then we'd create our structure, you know, break down, and we could pull back for an opportunity lower, right? Got this buy side liquidity trend line here. So the buys would look good from this area or this area to come and liquidate that, take our previous daily high. Then of course DXY would be taking its previous daily low and possibly this low before having a bullish reaction, sending price down on EU. So I hope that's clear. That's the opportunities I see. It's not a very clear day, and with CPI incoming, none of these may realize. You may not be able to enter around that time, but that's the best places that I can see to enter from. We want to take this previous daily low or previous daily high or come down into a discount for these POIs. That's where I would see the good trades coming from. So I hope you gained value from this. Anything that you'd want me to clarify on, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.